syncing the mic. Ow. How's it going, everybody? Hope y'all are doing well. So today we are going to be stealing. So in the past year or two here on YouTube, I've seen this style of video of independent artists just kind of breaking down their most recent release, whether it's an EP or an album, song, whatever. But it's just them essentially walking you through the production process and how they actually made it. So I'm going to steal that idea. So we're going to be taking a look at my most recent album. It's called The Lake Sessions. If you haven't heard it, it is a 9-track cover album of 9 folk songs that really inspired me when I was living next to Percy Priest here in Nashville. And I was originally going to show y'all my debut album, Du Ciel, but there's there's kind of a major problem with that. And that problem is I accidentally deleted all except one song. I deleted all the WAV files. All the actual audio tracks on every single song except one. Reaper has a function where you can get rid of any unused tracks. However, I made a fucky wucky and didn't realize that it would get rid of all the tracks. So a lot of the songs just look like this, and there is unfortunately no way for me to fix it. They are just gone forever. I'm gonna have to completely re-record all of this in the future if I want to like do a remix or remaster or anything. So that's why we can't do the debut album, and that's why we are going to do the Lake Sessions instead, because I actually have all the files for that. So our first track on the album is called Julie O. It was originally composed by Mark Summer, who is the cellist for the Turtle Island String Quartet. And I don't know if I would call it like a standard because it's more of a modern piece, but it's kind of become a pretty standard like more contemporary piece that a lot of cellists will play and record. And it's just a really fun piece to play with all the percussive bits, the plucking, all of that. So since I was classically trained, something like this is just a lot more fun for me. And as you can tell from the project file here, it is a solo cello piece. There is no other layers. The only other effects I have on it is reverb and compression. Now that I'm looking back at all the plugins I have, I'm kind of questioning my production choices here. I'm sure there was a reason I did all of this, but I have like left and right room reverb that have compression on it, and we can listen to what they are doing. Add in the lead verb. I have a different reverb plugin that I use now, but when I was initially producing this, I think I just wanted it to sound wider since it is only a solo instrument. You're kind of exposed. I did actually record this outside. The music video that I made for it is a live recording. This take is what I actually recorded on the video. You can actually hear some of the birds singing a little bit. Yeah, they're very faint, but it is in there, and every time I listen to it, I can hear them. So I think I did the double, triple, I guess, reverb just to make it sound wider because I didn't have any actual natural room reflection reverb when I recorded it. And I used this microphone, which you might recognize if you watch my stream at any point when I'm recording cello on it, if I can get to focus. This is my Soyuz bomblet that I got when I was actually working for Guitar Center, funny enough. And it is way too expensive of a microphone. You do not need a microphone this expensive to get a quality recording. Really, the reason that I got that microphone specifically was because I love the look of it. You know, because I work for Guitar Center, I got a little bit of a discount, but not like too much. So I would not recommend getting a microphone quite that expensive. I'll put some options up for affordable options if you are on a budget. But for me personally, I really like the look of certain gear, and it just inspires me to play better and to make better stuff. So that's really why I got that microphone specifically. It's just because I love the look of it. And obviously it sounds amazing. So yeah, not too much to talk about with Julio. It's just a single cello track. Really fun song to play. Definitely go check it out. But we're going to move on to our second song. And this song, whose name I'm going to butcher, so don't, is called Muisama on Minu Arm. And this song's lyrics was originally a poem by Lydia, and then it was, like Wikipedia here says, it was initially set to music for the Estonian Song Festival in 1869 originally. And this video here on YouTube from Laulupidu 2019, which if I understand correctly, nice. if I understand correctly, it's just kind of like a national song festival of Estonia. But this video is very, very beautiful because it's not their official national anthem from what I understand, but it is kind of seen like that. So it's just kind of one of those national patriotic songs that everybody in Estonia knows. And so at Laulupidu, basically the whole crowd, you can see how many people here is this giant production. The whole crowd knows the lyrics, and it's just a really, really beautiful video. So I would definitely suggest going and checking out Laulupidu 2019. Oh, look, it's my music video for it. You should go watch it. But I really loved the King Singers arrangement and just version of this. I'm not exactly sure how many singers are actually in this group, but I was really impressed with the arrangement of this. So I just listened to it a ton and got my notebook and basically wrote out by hand each individual part so that I could play it without having to like memorize it and play it back. Actually, let me see if I can go find that notebook. Okay, so I actually did find it. So you can see my transcript of all 4 parts so that I could actually play it without actually having to memorize it. And I just remember writing this all out was a giant pain in the ass because I had to listen to that song so many times. And it's a beautiful song, so I didn't mind doing it, but it was just a lot, and it took me a lot of hours to transcribe that out. So every single take on here is different. It's kind of like a hymn in the sense that it's the same melody every single time, but the inflection and how you actually play it is different every single time. So I couldn't just like copy and paste it. Even if it wasn't, I wasn't going to do that just for my own like sanity and my own artistic integrity, I guess. So yeah, every single track is an individual take that I had to get as close to perfect as I could, and I'm actually really happy with the way it turned out. It kind of starts at like medium volume the first time it goes through. I can see I did the same thing with the reverb here. I probably wouldn't do that again. I would probably just leave it. Then you can hear the second time it's louder. And then the third time is the quietest version. The most gentle. You gotta start gentle so you can bring it up and finish on a high note. So yeah, like I said, I don't really know exactly how many singers are actually on that arrangement that I followed, but I just turned this into a quartet because that's what I was most comfortable with doing, and that's about all I could stand to record at the time. So this third piece is By the Sea. It's by George Posca and is actually a solo piano piece, and it is probably the only solo piano piece that I will ever do again. And this one's pretty special to me because when I was initially learning piano in college for credit for my classes, my grandmother sent me a bunch of sheet music she didn't need anymore, and this was one of the pieces. See if I can get it to focus, hopefully. And I initially chose this piece because it was one of the only songs that she sent me that I felt like I could actually learn in a decent, reasonable amount of time. And also, just like Julie O, it's a very fun piece to play. It's basically just arpeggiating up and down the keyboard the whole time, as you can see in the music video for this one. And as you can also see in the music video, I basically just snuck into my alma mater's practice rooms and recorded in there. So I bought these really cool Russian ribbon microphones off of Reverb. These are, as far as I know, not made anymore. Like I said, I bought them off Reverb, and the guy on Reverb said he bought them off a Russian dude on eBay. So have really no clue where they came from. Somewhere in Russia. But I bought them because I really wanted a stereo matched pair of microphones to get a stereo image for this piece. And so you can see in the project file here, I have 3 tracks, ribbon left, right, and then I put the Soyuz basically at the back of the piano. I don't think you can see it in the video, but it's basically at the back of the piano, facing myself. These mics are probably like the quintessential what ribbon microphones are. They're very dark and they're very gain hungry, but I think they give this really like nice rich low end that I really like, especially for like blending it with other microphones. So you can hear just how like dark it is, and I actually have the highs, as you can see, I have the highs bumped up a little bit, but for this production I just brought the Soyuz in to add some brightness to it, and I would probably, if I had to do this again, I would probably not bump up the highs as much as I did. The Soyuz is also a very dark condenser microphone, so I think I kind of overcompensated a little bit by boosting the highs so much. So I'd probably tune that down a little bit if I had to remix this. Overall, I was really happy with it. The piano I used to record, like, I can't complain because I snuck into one of the practice rooms to record this, but the piano I was using was a baby grand, and it was pretty decently out of tune, but it was the only like real acoustic piano I could get my hands on, because I really didn't want to record it on my Yamaha over here or my Arturia, because then it would be MIDI and then it would just sound super fake. And for this project, I really wanted it to be as organic and to use as many acoustic instruments as I could. All right, and moving on to number 4, The Violet Hour. This is a song initially written by the Civil Wars, which is a duo, John Paul White and Joy Williams. Unfortunately, they're broken up now, but they did put out a couple albums together, and they just have this really cool kind of like dark songwriter, like almost folk sound. This is basically the closest track I have to just a straight cover with no other arrangement in it. It is just guitar, piano, and cello in the initial song, and it is just guitar, cello, and piano in this song. Really, the only difference that I made was I did guitar left and right to get more of a stereo image, so that piano and cello wasn't just like straight down the middle and was basically just like a mono track. And then I have some verb, and then I have 2 instances of Spitfire Labs for the piano, the grand and flow, and I'll do that because usually the sounds that the presets that Spitfire has, or Arturia, or whatever VST I'm using, usually the preset isn't exactly what I want, so I'll layer them and just kind of like blend them on top of each other so that it will sound like I want it to. Now, I know I just said that I wanted everything to be acoustic, but I didn't want to learn this piano part and go back to Belmont to record it, so I just did this MIDI. I don't want to play too much of it because they will copyright me. I have had them copyright me before, which is bullshit because I have the distributor license, but they don't seem to care. But you can hear just super simple, really easy cello melody. I'm really happy with the way this turned out. This one might be my most well mixed song, at least in my opinion. I really like the way this mix sounds with the stereo guitar and the piano kind of layers. I just think it sounds really, for an acoustic track, I think it sounds really huge. So I was really happy with this, the way it came out. It almost reminds me of like a lullaby in a way, you know, super simple guitar picking pattern, super simple piano. The cello is super simple as well, but it just gives this really cool vibe that kind of, it sounds like the Violet Hour, which is kind of, you know, right as the sun's going down, you know, dusk, like blue hour, some photographers would call it. It kind of sound, I don't know how to describe it. It sounds purple almost. I don't really know how to explain it, but just one of my favorite tracks from them, so I really wanted to cover it. All right, now moving on to number 5, Love Is All, which was initially written by The Tallest Man on Earth. And if you don't know The Tallest Man on Earth, he is probably one of my favorite singer-songwriters working today. I love his songwriting. I think his production and his finger-picking skills, really crazy. He's a really good multi-instrumentalist, but I think his lyrics and his songwriting is really where kind of puts all that together and really where the magic of his songs come from. So the next 4, actually, Love Is All, Hairs on the Mountain, Foothills, and East Virginia are all... Hairs on the Mountain and East Virginia are kind of like Appalachian standards, but he does really good covers of them, so I kind of just ripped off his arrangements. So Love Is All is off one of his very first albums, this one, The Wild Hunt. This was the very first song I learned how to finger pick, so that's really why I wanted to do it, is because I learned the finger picking part, and so I really just wanted to put a cello track to it. So you'll notice on this guitar part that it sounds kind of lo-fi. And the reason that that is because I use this Epiphone acoustic to actually record it, which it was my dad's. But instead of using a mic to actually mic it up, I use this old pickup he had, which is a DeArmond 230. Hopefully that is focusing on it. And because the DeArmond was made in like the 70s or 80s or something, it just kind of has this kind of lo-fi sound to it that I really, really liked. A lot of the Tallest Man on Earth songs kind of remind me of Appalachia and kind of this like dreary kind of like mountainous vibe. So for the guitar itself, I kind of wanted it to sound more lo-fi and just like maybe a little bit dirtier or grungier. And then the cello parts themselves, it's actually only 2 parts. I did a mid-side recording, so took a ribbon microphone, turned it, doubled it, and then flipped the phase to give it like this stereo effect. I probably wouldn't, once again, I probably wouldn't do this if I was producing this again, just because it can kind of muddy up the mix. It's good if it's a solo instrument, but it's probably fine in this circumstance. But in more of a produced or a busy mix, you don't really need a mid-side. It's basically just to get more ambiance of the room, to get more reverb naturally. But you can kind of hear the lo-fi guitar and then the more hi-fi sounding cellos. And so for the cello, I have 2 tracks. The one in red is the actual vocal melody that's on the song. That is the actual melody that he sings on the actual track. And then the second one was just kind of a counter melody that I wanted to add because I wanted to kind of layer it, make it sound a little bit more interesting. And then add the guitar in. And really the only things we have on there, like everything else, is just compression and EQ and then verb for the guitar and the cellos. So yeah, once again, not too complicated. I tried to keep everything as simple as I possibly could because I was kind of sick of doing this album after a long time. But yeah, love Tallest Man on Earth, Love Is All is a beautiful song. I would definitely recommend you listen to it. All right, and continuing on from there is probably our most production-wise complicated song, Hairs on the Mountain. Actually, now that I think about it, I don't think he has Hairs on the Mountain as a cover. No, he doesn't. So Hairs on the Mountain is kind of like a folk standard. I don't know if it was Nora Brown or who I was listening to, but I heard a version of Hairs on the Mountain that I just really, really liked and it really resonated with me. So I decided I wanted to give it a shot. And so starting off with the guitar, you can also hear it is the kind of like lo-fi Epiphone with the DeArmond pickup. But specifically this track I recorded outside at Percy Priest again, and I used the DeArmond pickup because I didn't want any wind to get in the microphone, which is very tricky because it is windy out on that lake. So that's why I used the pickup initially, so I could just go DI, but that guitar doesn't have a 1/4 inch in, so that's why I had to use the pickup. And then I have 3 layers of cellos. And it looks like 9, but it's because I did the same mid-side technique. And for this song, I really don't need to do it. I probably wouldn't do it again, but I just, at the time, I wanted to, so that's what it is. And this is like the actual vocal melody in the song if you listen to anybody's like typical rendition of it, but I also did add in counter melodies as well. And then underneath all of that, I added a little bit of Spitfire Labs because we love Spitfire Labs. This is a synth. It's called Dust Collector. And then we also did Ondes Musicales. That's not how you say it. That's not how you say it. But this is the ribbon preset, and this is just adding some ambience. It's just going with the chords and it's adding some ambiance underneath it. I don't think any of this has any like bird sounds or anything in it. No, I don't think so. And then, like usual, verb for the cello, the guitar, and room reverb, which is what's receiving the room reverb. Oh, I see what I did. Okay, so on this track, I sent all the ribbon mics to this room reverb so that I could control all of them as one, and I could just kind of like add in as much ambience as I wanted to. That's what I did. I could not remember. But yeah, I was really happy with the way this turned out. It's a lot of parts, so it was kind of a pain to get it to all sit right. But I think it sounds really huge all together, so I was pretty happy with the way this turned out. And also the fact that this guitar take is a live take out on a bench in the woods is also kind of cool, I think. So that is Hairs on the Mountain. All right, moving on to number 7 is also a Talisman song. It is called Foothills, and this is off of his most recent album called Henry Street. And the reason I picked this track, as you can see, it's the closing track on the record, is because when I initially listened through it, I felt like this was a very good way to cap off this record. I think it is just a very good conclusion to it. And so I initially wanted this to be the closing track. It didn't end up being the closing track because I changed my mind, but I really, really liked this song. I thought it was really pretty. But I was so eager to record it when it initially came out. There was no transcript or anything for the guitar part. So I found a live video of him playing it and basically just tried to follow along and copy what he did. And I eventually got it. It's not a very complicated guitar part, luckily, but yeah, there was no tabs or anything. So I just had to figure it out by ear and by sight. So this is what the guitar sounds like. Once again, just compression and EQ. I want to say I did the same thing with this, and I used the DeArmond pickup. It does not sound like I mic'd it up, so I'm pretty sure, I'm pretty positive I did the same thing and used that Epiphone with the DeArmond pickup to get this sound. And then I added, it looks like 4 cello layers. And if I remember right, the one in red is the main melody. Once again, I just have the mid-side technique going, way too many layers. But it sounds really pretty in my opinion. But as you can hear, this red is just the main melody, and all 3 layers underneath it are just like a drone, essentially. Because he does so many singer-songwriter things, and now he has a band to back him up, you're really exposed if you're just doing guitar and vocals. So I just wanted something to kind of support all of that. And as you can hear, I also added in some more Spitfire Labs because we love Spitfire Labs. Ooh, yeah. Some nice ambient synth and some bird song to add the atmosphere to it. I want to say I also recorded this guitar out on Percy Priest. In fact, I'm almost positive I did because I wanted to record a video of me singing this, and then I decided I didn't like my singing voice, so I scrapped that idea. So I'm pretty positive this is also a take live out on Percy Priest as well. So we can hear it all together. And then just some room verb. And then cello and guitar verb. It looks like I just sent it all to this one. Yeah, and all the... Oh, actually, the room verb on this is all the cellos. All the cellos except the melody main. This one is not on this reverb. It's actually on this one. I see why I did that. It makes sense because all of this is basically ambiance. So I just wanted to be able to control the verb, or not the verb, but the ambience level of all of it. All right, apologies if this looks different. My SD card just ran out of space because I was yapping for too long. So I'm switching over to OBS now. So I was saying, I just think this song translates really well to cello and just kind of like this typical style of production that I do with a lot of layers and atmosphere and just kind of very cinematic sounding. So I was really happy with the way this sounded. All right, and moving on to number 8 is East Virginia, which is like I was saying, is a Appalachian kind of like standard, I guess you could call it. It's a very traditional folk song. A lot of people have covered it, but I really liked the Tallest Man on Earth's version with Y music, and that's basically what this is inspired by. For some reason, they've taken this album off of YouTube not YouTube. They've taken it off of streaming. I'm not exactly sure why, but if you can find this album and download it so you can keep it, definitely do. It's beautiful. It's basically the Tallest Man with a chamber group behind him, if I remember right. Y music is not a full orchestra. They're sort of like a chamber ensemble. But like winds and brass and strings behind it. It's beautiful. I really, really love this arrangement. And I would like walk along Percy Priest. And this was at the time that I think I was still working for Guitar Center, and I hated that job so much. Any chance I would get that I could just go out and walk on the lake, even if it was hot, if it was cold, it didn't matter. I hated that job so much. It gave me such bad cabin fever. I just needed to get outside. So I remember I would listen to this while I was walking along the lake, and it was just a really, really nice song to listen to, especially on like an overcast day. It's kind of gloomy sounding, so I was pretty happy with it. So we got the guitar, pretty sure it's the same lo-fi guitar that has been on everything, and we got some MIDI piano and some MIDI bass, because I did not have a bass at the time. And then once again, more synth layers, some thunder sounds. I think this is what this is. Yeah, Organic Textures, Thunder, and Birdsong, and then Fragile Air. It's just like a very like haunting sound. It definitely isn't. I wasn't going to go to the extent that the Y music arrangement has, just because I don't have that nice of orchestra VSTs. But I wanted to get the same kind of like gloomy, not depressed, but just kind of backwoods Appalachia, like overcast, like holler kind of feel to it, if that makes sense. And then we have the same mid-side technique for this cello. And in this instance, this is a good use of the mid-side technique to give it more ambiance and space for the solo instrument. Very sad. Makes you want to lay on the floor of your room and cry. All right, and last but very much not least is Am I Born to Die? And I was really inspired by Nora Brown's version of this song that they did for Doc Watson's like 100th birthday album or something that they put out. Yeah, it's this album, Am I a Pilgrim? Doc Watson at 100. This is a compilation album. It's a bunch of different artists, as you can see, but it's just a tribute to Doc Watson. These are all his songs: Shady Grove, Am I Born to Die, I Am a Pilgrim, all his kind of biggest hits. And I like this version of it because it's her singing with just kind of these, not orchestral layers, but it has some strings, some violin layers, and kind of like this organ that's just kind of droning underneath it all. I'll play a little snippet of it. And they're just kind of changing with the chords. So it's really pretty. I definitely recommend you go listen to that version of the song, but I really was inspired by that. And so as you can see, I have a ridiculous amount of harmonies and drone layers on this track. I'll just kind of skip to the middle of it. I did the melody line, and then I just basically added what I thought sounded the best over it. This was the very end of recording this project, so I was kind of just finished and through. I was really tired of having to arrange other people's music, and so I kind of wanted to just get this done. That's why, in my opinion, the mix on the album doesn't come through like it should. I would really like to remix this song. I think I might do that at some point because all the layers don't really come through like they should, in my opinion. And as you can see, there's a ridiculous amount of layers on here. So we have the main melody, and then we have these drone layers on the outside that I think are just harmonics. Yeah, that's what they are. And then we have this harmony layer. And I should have automated this to make it stand out when it actually plays in the song, but I just didn't. Then we have these second harmony layers. So pretty. So pretty. I really should remix this because it sounds so good. Then we have the first harmony layers. And then we have the bass. Sounds so good. Skip back. Oh, it's such a good chord change. Then we got the melody on top. And then we got a little bit of reverb. And the background reverb. I pushed the melody too much in the mix that's actually on streaming, so I think I would like to redo it at some point because it could just be a lot better than it is right now. Dude, I know DistroKid has like an audio swap feature if you pay for their like ultimate plan. I might do that just so that I can submit a new mix for this song because I'm not like 100% happy with it. I think I was just so sick of doing this project by this point that I just didn't care when I probably should have. But I really do like this song. I think it definitely deserves a better mix. But yeah, all cello layers or every single take you see is a different take. None of it is duplicated. It is all individually recorded. So you can see why I was getting so burnt out. And if any of y'all were wondering, this is what the album art looks like it all has been. This is out on Percy Priest. I took my cello out there, took this camera out there and got some really cool shots and just kind of color graded it, designed it a little bit with this little nice border, put the text along the sides and everything, and that was pretty much it. I'm really happy. I was really happy with the way this album art turned out. I think it looks really, really good. I wanted the kind of like contrast of the red and kind of like brown of the cello and the woods to stand out from the blue and the sky of the lake. Really like that album art, especially considering like how cello heavy the album is. I think it's pretty fitting. So yeah, that is the Lake Sessions. I hope you guys enjoyed. I know in the title of this video it says no experience. I am classically trained. If you watch my previous video about how expensive music colleges are nowadays, I talk about how I went to school for classical cello performance. So I did have actual performance experience, but I didn't have any actual production experience. So these albums, as you can tell with all my mistakes that I made throughout all of the project files, none of it's perfect. The songs that I've been working on recently on stream, I think are a lot better and they're gonna sound a lot better. So I'm pretty excited for that. And for the metal album that I'm coming out with my buddies, I think that's gonna be really cool. So definitely keep an eye out for that. I will definitely announce it when it gets finished. But yeah, that's pretty much it. That was the Lake Sessions. That's how I recorded and produced pretty much everything. It was a giant pain in the ass, but also a labor of love because I love all of those songs. I would not recommend if you're just starting out doing a cover album initially. It's cool if you want to do cover songs, but I would probably record the cover songs in your spare time while focusing on your original music, because my original music, I put out Duciel in like 6 months. The lake sessions took me like 2.5 years to do because I had to rearrange everything and figure out how to play everything. And it was just a giant hassle. So I probably would not recommend you start off doing a cover album just for like publicity's sake, especially because nobody knows you if you're just starting out, so it doesn't really matter. I would definitely focus on your original music and putting out as much original music as you can in the start. And then if you get a collection of cover songs down the road, a couple years down the road, I think that's fine to put that out as kind of like a compilation album. But I would not work like night and day trying to do cover songs because it is just a giant time suck. But yeah, like I said, that's going to be it for me. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate you spending some of your time with me here today. I'll leave all my links down below to my Buy Me a Coffee and my website if you want to donate to me. I do have a membership that you can talk to me directly and you can get these videos early. All those proceeds go to my charity, which is my bank account. I sell all my music on my website if you want to download it in its high-res formats, FLAC and MP3. So you can donate there and help me out so I can do this full-time, so I can put these videos out on a more consistent schedule for you fine folks. And then I also have my social media and all that good stuff down there as well. So like I said, thank you guys so much for watching, spending some of your time with me today. I really appreciate it. See you guys on the next one. Bye.